Nana, why do I have to feel like this? Meanwhile, at UA, Nizu and All Might were speaking in a private room. All Might, I can't believe that which came into contact and almost unalived my daughter. Nizu, now, All Might, stay calm. Remember our plan? I can almost say that after this encounter, they will attack the ceremony. All Might. And when they do, we capture them, and then go after All for One. Nizu. Yes, now go get ready. We are leaving in 10 minutes. All Might. Yes, sir. All Might left the room at supersonic speeds at that moment. Nizu. I hope this plan works. Hours passed, and the League never attacked. The Hero High Command was disappointed, but that made them think the League had lost much of its offensive capabilities after Hosu, so they would be safe and have time to prepare for a while. This made them decide that since the training camp was a secret, they didn't need that much security, so they decided to send just the homeroom teachers of the class along with the pussycats. For the heroes, it seemed like they could relax for a while, but how wrong they were. After a few days, back at the LOV's bar, Nana was sitting on the couch, while Kurojairi was doing his usual stuff at the bar. At that moment, the door opened, and in came Jiren along with a big group of people. Jiren. Hello? Nana, I brought you what you asked for. Nana. Good. Unknown person. Is she who we are supposed to follow? Nana. Who are you? And you got a problem with that? Dabi. The name is Dabi. And yes, because I thought I would work with Stain, or, better yet, Dark Phoenix. Spinner. Yes, I thought so. Too. I came here to work along with Stain. Toga. I just want to make people bleed. Muscular. You are speaking my language. Moonfish. Flesh. I need flesh. Mr. Compress. Want to see a trick? Magna. If I am going to follow someone, I want them to be someone I can respect. If not, I'd rather be free. Mustard. I just hate heroes. Twice. Me too. / no I don't. Nana. Great a bunch of psychos. Jiren. Indeed, but they are also either crazily powerful or crazily skilled. Nana. Okay, people, listen up. I am Nana Shigaraki, the leader of the League of Villains, and I. Muscular. You are the leader? Yeah. Right? How is that possible? I thought it was Dark Phoenix. Dark Phoenix. Oh, but it is true. Everyone turned to see Dark Phoenix, standing in the hallway. Dabi, Dark Phoenix. Twice. I know him. / who the heck is he? Spinner. Oh my god, he is Stain's buddy. Mustard. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Muscular. Finally, someone worthy of me to follow. Mr. Compress, the finest trickster. Magna. Him, I can respect. Toga. He is so cute. Moonfish. Him, not food. Dark Phoenix. You flatter me, but I am not the one in charge. In fact, I don't even know what is happening. I believe you were about to explain, right, Nana? Nana. Right, thanks, Izuku. Now, as I was saying, you are here because I want you to be part of a new unit inside the League, including you, Izuku. I want you to be part of the Vanguard Action Squad, the elite troops of the League of Villains, and you will answer only to me. Dabi. I think I can speak for everyone when I ask. Why should we follow you? We don't know you. We only know Phoenix and Stain, so give us a good reason why. There was silence. Izuku was about to step in to save Nana, but then she spoke. Nana. True, I am not well known, but I have been in every League's attack. Who do you think defeated the leader of the HPSC and the Minister of Heroics? That was me, and don't take my word for it. Ask Izuku. I am the leader, and I could only be in charge of the most elite forces, and that is why I want you to join me. I have been in command of several attacks, and now I want my own party. So tell me what your reason to disagree is. Silence again. Dabi, is that true, Phoenix? Izuku, affirmative. Dabi, then, there is none. I am in. Toga, so I am. Mr. Compress, me too. And so the other members also agreed, and that day, the Vanguard Action Squad was formed. Dabi, but tell me, what will we be doing? I want action. Muscular, I want to fight. Toga, you, so do I. Nana, we will wait for an opportunity, then we strike. Izuku, I think I have the perfect opportunity for you. Everyone turned to Izuku. Nana, and what is it? Izuku, UA will be sending the first-year students to a training camp in the woods, away from society, in a few days, so that will be the perfect opportunity. Nana, great. Izuku, guide them to one of our bases. I will make plans for the attack. Izuku, you don't want my help? I am the strategist, after all. Nana, thank you. but I am the leader, I can do it. Izuku, if you say so, now all of you as he turned to the vanguard follow me. Izuku then opened a portal and signaled them to go in. They followed, and soon enough, they were gone. Nana, now, I will show the world who I really am and what I am capable of. The first-year students were all excited. They were all going to the UA training camp and be able to go beyond their limits. They were all getting ready to board into the bus. Mina, oh God, I am excited. This is going to be fun. Izumi, you bet. But let's not forget we are here to get stronger as well. Heroes never rest. Tenya, bravo Izumi. Bravo. Aizawa. Okay, everybody enter the bus. They were all boarding until Monoma. Oh, look if it isn't the despicable Class A. I heard you had 5 people who failed the exam. How can that be? How can that be? Aren't you supposed to be stronger than us? Haha, that just proves that we. He didn't get finish as Kendo knocked him out. Kendo, I am sorry, Class A. Izumi, don't worry. She is like Class B's big sister. After that whole fiasco, now they had all boarded. The students made small chat between them while they were on the bus. They were all happy, not knowing what awaited them. In the league's hideout, Nana and Izuku were talking in the table. Izuku, so you have finished the plan? Nana, yes. Izuku, and what is it? Nana, the main goal is to capture a student I have already told Dabi about. He is going to lead the charge against the camp. Izuku, which student do you want to capture? Nana, that doesn't concern you. As for you, your job is to keep that blonde-haired beach busy. She is the biggest threat. Izuku, very well then. You are in charge this time after all. Now, if you excuse me, I have things to do. Izuku stood up and went to his room. Izuku, fighting my sister? Huh, that's going to be fun, but I have my own objectives as well. See you soon. Eraserhead, back with the students. The students' bus had now stopped. All of them had stepped out. Mineta, where's the bathroom? Where's the bathroom? Aizawa, it wouldn't make sense to stop here without reason. Unknown person, Eraserhead. Aizawa, Mandalay, you are here finally. This caught the attention of the students. The woman then proceeded to introduce herself and another woman who went by the name Pixie Bob as the Wild Wild Pussycats. After that introduction, Pixie Bob moved to use her quirk, which allows her to manipulate the ground and made the students fall off the mountain. Needless to say, they were confused. Pixie Bob, hey little kitties. The camp is on the other side of the beast forest. Come on, you have to reach it before midday, or there will be no lunch. Mandalay, this is all private property, so don't be afraid to use your quirks as much as you want. Kaminari Beast Forest? What kind of name is that? Ciro, what are we even supposed to use our quirks for? At that moment, we see Mineta running behind a tree to try and pee, but he is interrupted by the roar of a beast, which forced him to run out to the safety of his classmates. Izumi, there is your answer, Ciro. That's when Izumi charged against the beast using her quirks and was able to quickly destroy it. Then another creature appeared that almost hit Izumi, but he was then frozen by Shota and blown up by Katsumi. Another beast appeared, but this time it was Shoto and Katsuki's turn to destroy it. Izumi, okay, then we can do this. Let's stick together. Let's make a formation. Long-range fighters stay in the middle, medium, and close-range fighters on the sides. Everybody, yes. And with that, they began to make their way to the camp. 8 hours later, the students finally managed to cross the camp, but they were all tired and bruised. Pixie Bob did not have any mercy with them. Pixie Bob, well done, kiddies. You actually took less time than I expected. Sato, arrived before midday. What the hell? Mandalay, sorry we based it on time it would have taken us. All the students, UUGGHH. Kirishima, what a way to flex on us. All of that was being observed by a small kid of about 7 from a distance, but Izumi noticed him. Izumi, I have a question. Whose kid is that? As she pointed to the kid. Mandalay. Oh, he is my nephew. He is staying with us for now. Izumi decided to approach him. Izumi. Hi there, little one. I am Izumi Yagi, from UA's hero course. What's your name? At first, the kid got red because a cute girl was talking to him, but then he regained his composure. Koda. I am Koda, and I have no intention of hanging around with people who want to be heroes. He then proceeded to leave. Pixie Bo moved to announce. Pixie Bob. Okay, then kiddies, you can all use the hot showers while we prepare your food. But don't get too comfy, as this is the only time we will cook your food. Next time you will be all by yourself." The students then changed and went into their shower to relax. The boys were on one side and the girls on the other. The boys were doing boys' things while the girls were talking between them. Mina: "Hey, Izumi, what's going on between you and Shoto?" Izumi: "What are you talking about?" Mina: "Oh, don't play dumb. As of recently, you have been all close with him. Oh, how I envy you. He is so hot." Shota: "Hey, be more respectful. He is my brother." Izumi: "Yeah, and nothing is going on. We are just best friends." Mina: "Well, anyways, is like they say, the best friend is like the turkey leftovers of Christmas. Sooner or later, you will end up eating it." Izumi and Shota: "Mina." Izumi was all red at this point, while Shota was being contained by Katsumi to not hit Mina. Meanwhile, all the other girls were just laughing at the situation. That is when they heard from the other side how Mineta was trying to climb the wall, only to be frozen in place by Shoto. After that, the students went on to eat the food the pussycats had prepared for them. As they were eating, Izumi noticed Koto walking away, so she decided to follow him with a plate of food. Koto reached the end of a mountain and sat down. That is when Izumi stepped in. Izumi: "Hey there. Koto, how did you find me, and what do you want?" Izumi: "I followed you, and I supposed you had not eaten anything, so I brought you this," as she showed him a plate of food. Koto: "Leave. I don't want to hang out with you people who pretend to be heroes, but just want to show off." Izumi: "Were your parents the water hose?" Koto: "What did Mandalay tell you?" Izumi: "No, she just told me what your quirk was, and then I put two and two together. Listen, I know you are hurt because of what happened, but do you really think your parents were just trying to show off? No, they were trying to save lives that the villain they fought would have taken if they didn't intervene. They were real heroes." Koto: "Leave already." Izumi: "Okay, then enjoy your food." After that, Koto was left thinking. Then the students were all sent to bed, so they had to be ready for the next day's trial, except for the extra lesson students. They were unaware of the shadowy figures that observed them. At the top of a mountain, Dabi: "Tomorrow, they all go down." Dark Phoenix: "Indeed, you will all suffer heroes." Next day, 1A was doing exercises to help them increase their power almost since the very beginning. They were then joined by Class 1B and Vlad King, as well as Ragdoll and Tiger, the other two members of the Pussycats. The students brought themselves to their limits during this day. When night came, they couldn't move a single muscle. They still tried to cook, but they weren't very good at it. It was later announced that the students would play a game between the classes to try and scare the other. First, Class B would scare. They were all in pairs, except for Izumi, as the extra lessons students were called off, leaving them odd. Everything was going nice, but the students could hear and smell like wood burning, just to see a blue fire at a distance. Then a strange type of gas began to flood the whole forest, making the students fall unconscious. In the central area, Mandalay and Tiger didn't know what was happening. They also couldn't find Pixie Bob and Ragdoll. Magna: "Hey, Super Turds, is this who you were searching for?" The heroes and Izumi, who was still with them, turned to see Magna holding a giant piece of metal of Pixie Bob's head, who was unconscious, accompanied by Spinner. Tiger: "Stand back, get off her." Spinner: "Or what?" Tiger then proceeds to attack Magna, who lost her weapon, beginning a fierce exchange of fists between them. Meanwhile, Spinner charged against Mandalay using his weapons. Mandalay was able to dodge Spinner's attack and slowly began to counterattack. Meanwhile, Izumi remembered about Koda. Izumi: "Mandalay, I know where Koda is. I will go search for him." Mandalay: "Be careful." Mandalay then proceeded to use her telepathy to communicate with everyone, warning them about the villain attack. With Ragdoll, Ragdoll had gone off, wandering around the forest when she saw the blue fire. Then she received Mandalay's message, and so she decided to make her way back to the main camp. She began running, but then a figure jumped in front of her and realized a giant shockwave that hit Ragdoll directly and sent her flying toward a tree, making her hit her head hard. She was unconscious. Dark Phoenix: "One down, two to go." With Koda, Koda was scared. He saw the fire from his hideout and also received Mandalay's message. That is when a massive, masked figure appeared in front of him. Muscular: "Oh, look at what we have here. Fresh blood." Koda: "Who are you? What do you want?" Muscular: I am just a fella who wants to see you bleed. Muscular the proceeded to stick out his muscle-covered arm and attacked Kota, but he was saved by Izumi. Izumi charged her arm up and punched Muscular in the face, making his mask fall. Kota, you are the one who outlived my parents, the water hose. Muscular, you are their brat? This must be a destiny then. Izumi, I won't let you do anything to him. Muscular, oh yeah, and what are you going to do? That punch of yours was weak. Izumi, good thing is not the only thing I can do. Izumi then used Electro powered by One for All and unleashed a discharge of electricity. It is not as strong as the ones used by Kaminari, but it was strong enough to stun Muscular for a short time. She began to charge Electro and One for All to its fullest. Muscular, is that all? Muscular charged with his muscle fibers at its fullest, aiming to kill Izumi, but Izumi, Star Cannon, reduced lethality. The energy blast impacted on Muscular hard. He wasn't able to resist the direct hit and was knocked out. Izumi, although she won, was really tired after that attack. Izumi, come on, Kota, let's go. With Aizawa. Aizawa was worried when he heard the message. He went outside just to be greeted by a wave of blue fire in his face, which he barely managed to dodge. He then saw that who attacked him was a young villain with a lot of scars. Aizawa then received another fire blast, which he dodged. He then managed to kick Dabi and pinned him to the ground. Aizawa, tell me, what is your purpose here? Dabi, why should I? Aizawa, because if not, this will happen. Aizawa grabbed one of Dabi's fingers and broke it. Aizawa, you have 9 left, start speaking. Dabi just laughed and used his quirk to make Aizawa get off him. Aizawa used his scarf and tied up Dabi. He then tried to pull Dabi, but his scarf went through him, and Dabi began to turn into mud. Dabi, tell me, Eraser, you care a lot about your students, don't you? Let's how many you can protect. With that, Dabi disappeared, and Aizawa ran back in. Aizawa, Vlad, they are after the students. Protect the ones here. I will go check outside. Aizawa then began to run. He needed to save his students. Meanwhile, throughout the whole camp, the students were all battling for their lives against the vanguard. Toga was fighting against Uraraka and Tsu, Moonfish against Katsuki and Shoto, Mustard against Kendo and Tetsu, Spinner and Magna against Mandalay and Tiger, and Inomu against Shota and Katsumi. Meanwhile, the rest of the students were all dispersed. Aizawa wouldn't let the villains take any of his students away, but then he barely managed to dodge an incoming shockwave, but he still went flying and landed hard on the ground. Aizawa was then able to hear footsteps and claps. Dark Phoenix. Wow. Eraser, my congrats, you dodged my attack. Aizawa, what do you want? Dark Phoenix, me? I need something from you. Dark Phoenix then moved at incredible speeds towards Aizawa and landed a punch right in his stomach with his metal arm, making Aizawa vomit. He tried to retaliate against the villain by throwing a right hook against him, but Phoenix blocked it quickly. He then used his left arm and twisted Aizawa's right arm. Then using the metallic component, he punched Aizawa in the face and pinned him to the ground. Aizawa was bleeding a lot at this point, was beginning to lose consciousness. Still, it couldn't end like that. Aizawa, with his last butts of strength, used his scarf and captured Izuku's metallic arm and began to pull, trying to tear it apart. Still, Phoenix simply let out an electrical discharge due to Aizawa's scarf being metallic, conducted the electricity, and like that, Aizawa was knocked out. Dark Phoenix. What a shame, Eraser. I always admired you. You are not like the other heroes and villains with flashy and powerful quirks, yet you can beat them. Seeing you inspires me. Phoenix then made a needle to stick out of one of his metallic fingers and stuck it in Aizawa's arm, extracting vital fluid, but then a voice caught his attention. Izumi, stay away from my sensei. Phoenix stood up and looked back towards Izumi. Dark Phoenix. Izumi, tell me, what are you going to do? Talk me out of this. I am already too far to go back now, and you know it. Izumi. Yes, I do. That is why I am going to beat you up and smack some sense back into you. Dark Phoenix. Haha. You are welcome to try. Izumi. Kota, I need you to run back to the camp as hard as you can. I will deal with this villain. Kota obeyed and left the area, but not before. Kota, win, please. You can do it, hero. Izumi. Kota. Dark Phoenix. Always putting others before you. How heroic, that is not how I remember you. Izumi. I am sorry, Izuku. Izumi looked back at her brother and began to charge up her quirks. Izumi, let's do this. Dark Phoenix, with pleasure. And so the two siblings began to prepare themselves for the battle that was to come. Izumi and Phoenix were observing each other, taking up their battle stances. Izumi was the first to make a move. She quickly dashed against and punched him in the face. Though he managed to block it with his arms, he was still sent flying back. Izumi kept pressuring Izuku. She reached him and landed a kick to his right side. Izumi kept the pressure. She moved above Izuku and landed an axe kick to his face, sending him to the ground, making a hole. She was going to continue with a hammer punch, but a giant shockwave impacted her, sending her back. Now, it was Izuku's turn to attack. He jumped from the hole he was in and sent Izumi another shockwave, but she nullified it with a punch. Izuku took advantage of Izumi's distraction and punched her in the face using his metal arm, sending her flying into a tree. Izuku continued and grabbed Izumi by the ears and kneed her on the nose. He released her, and with his metal hand, he sent a shockwave to her face, sending her across the forest. Izuku, I thought you said you were going to beat me. At that moment, an energy blast impacted Izuku. Izumi, I am just getting started. After regaining his senses, Izuku spoke. Izuku, two can play that game. Izuku used his right arm and charged 3 energy blasts, which he launched against Izumi. She was able to nullify the first with a burst of her own and the other 2 by smashing them. Izumi then charged Electro. Izumi, Star Blast. Izuku was able to catch it with his metal arm and absorb the energy. He then used a multiplier to enhance the power and released it back against Izumi. Izuku, Phoenix's Karma. Izumi noticed she was in danger and quickly charged up to try and nullify the attack. The 2 blasts collided with one another. Both of them struggled, trying to overpower the other. Still, it became more apparent that Izuku had the most power. Izumi understood this, and she moved out of the way. She quickly appeared on Izuku's left side, where he was weak, and punched him in the face. Izumi, Detroit Smash. Izuku was sent back. He tried to fight back, but Izumi kept appearing on his left side, so it was difficult to attack with his metal arm. He received attack after attack, only being able to barely dodge. He was then able to gain distance between him and Izumi. Izumi, you are strong, brother, but it is only because of your right arm. If you can't use it, your offense is weak. That is your weakness. Izuku, ha 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 ha. Izumi, what's so funny? Izuku, stupid girl, you think I haven't realized? Of course, I have, and that is why I developed a way to nullify my weakness. At that moment, what appeared as small lightning started to appear all around Izuku. His veins began to mark in his skin, and he became a bit bulkier. Izumi, what did you do? Izuku, oh, I took a page from your book. I replicated Electro and used energy I stored and redistributed to boost me. Now let's begin round 2, shall we? Izuku quickly moved and appeared in front of Izumi. Using his left arm, he punched Izumi's stomach, and using his right arm, he delivered an upper that sent Izumi flying. Izuku then jumped, and utilizing a hammer punch, Izuku threw Izumi back into the ground. He charged his right arm with an energy blast. Izuku, Phoenix's Wrath. The blast landed directly on Izumi, making the ground shake violently. Izuku turned around to leave, but at that moment, Izumi charged against him. She wasn't done just yet. She aimed a punch at the back of his head, but Izuku reacted in time, catching it with his left arm, releasing a massive shockwave. Izumi tried using her left arm as well, but Izuku blocked the punch as well with his other arm. He then lifted Izumi and made her spin in the air. He then punched her as she was spinning, sending her away. Izumi would not surrender. She decided it was time to go full out with the power she could control. Izuku, you can still continue? How annoying. Izumi, I ain't heard no bell. Izumi charged, causing a sonic boom behind her, and punched Izuku so hard that some of his bones actually cracked. Izuku was sent flying backward, and Izumi pursued. Izuku used a small trick and activated small propulsors in his boots to try and flew away. Still, Izumi wouldn't let him get away. She moved as fast as she could and tried to punch Izuku in the face, which he blocked. Izuku tried to counter, but Izumi stopped as well, and so their supersonic fight began. It seemed as though they were both at the same power level. Still, Izuku had something to his advantage. His tactical mind was able to slowly overpower Izumi. He adapted quicker and developed more successful counters. But still, they were pretty much equal for now. They both tried to break the stalemate by using energy blasts, but it was also to no avail. But Izumi took the advantage and charged Izuku. They both began a fierce exchange of punches, which ended in a small victory for Izumi. Izuku was sent flying to the ground. Izumi was about to deliver a hard punch on Izuku, but he activated a small feature he had in his arm. A small beam appeared from one of his fingertips, which was fired against a tree, engulfing it. As if it was psychic powers, Izuku sent the tree flying into Izumi, who wasn't expecting that. Izumi landed on the ground with the tree on her. Izumi, what the hell? Izuku, you like it? It's a small new feature called zero-point energy beam. It acts almost as our Titan's telekinesis. Ever since my encounter with her, I realized how powerful telekinesis could be, so I decided to replicate it. After that, Izuku grabbed a few other trees and some rocks and launched them against Izumi. When he was finished, he approached Izumi and took her out of where she was buried. He lifted her to eye level and said just one thing. With that, their battle was over. Izumi was bleeding on the ground. She couldn't fight anymore. Izuku was approaching her, but that is when an ice wave was thrown against him, which he easily destroyed. A wave of flame which made him step back. It was Shoto, Shota, and Katsumi, as well as Tokoyami, Shoji, Uraraka, and Tsu. The girls went to check on Izumi, while the boys stood up against Izuku. They were in fear and shaking. Izuku's sole presence was intimidating, but they wouldn't back down. Shoto, what did you do to her? He asked in evident anger. Izuku, I taught her to not get in my way. Katsumi, how could you do this to your sister? Izuku, we stopped being family long ago. Shota, you monster. She was about to attack Izuku, but Izumi stopped her. Izumi, don't, he is too powerful. The students were surprised and in fear, as even Izumi admitted that Izuku was too powerful for them. Izuku, wise choice. That is when a voice in Izuku's communicator spoke to him. Dabi, Phoenix, we are done. Meet us back at the base. Time to go. Izuku sighed and opened a portal. Shoto, where do you think you are going? Izuku, the mission is over, and I have no intention to end you here. Your demise will be much more artistically done. Ha. With that, Izuku retreated into the portal. That night, the Hero Corps students were utterly defeated by the villains. The training camp invasion was over. The heroes were totally defeated. Ragdoll and Katsuki were nowhere to be seen. Aizawa and Izumi sustained severe injuries from their fight against Dark Phoenix. The rest of the students and teachers also had some kind of damage. Pixie Bob had a head injury. Meanwhile, Vlad had some third-degree burns from his fight against Dobby's clones. As news spread of the disasters, there was a public outcry against hero incompetence. The public was turning more and more against them. There were protests on the streets. People were now demanding for the military to take over operations. However, the Prime Minister was still reluctant. He wanted to give the heroes one last chance to prove themselves, and that is how he will decide what to do next. During the attack, they were able to capture some villains. Moonfish, Muscular, and Mustard were all arrested. Still, all of them refused to give the word to them about the League's hideout. The image of Dark Phoenix coming against them for their betrayal lured above them, and that was enough to not make them speak. As in the streets, the people riot. Our characters are having all discussions on what to do next. With Class 1A, Izumi was the most injured. She had several broken bones, as well as heavy bleeding, even a pierced lung from Izuku's last attack. She was currently in her room, thinking about what has happened lately. A flashback of those last moments from her fight against her brother appeared. Katsumi, how could you do this to your own sister? Izuku, we stopped being family long ago. Remembering those last words felt like being shot in the heart for Izumi. Izumi, Izuku is a villain now. Our family was torn apart. Many heroes, civilians, and other innocents died. The hero world is collapsing. Katsuki and Ragdoll were kidnapped. Everybody is in fear, and all because of me. Izumi couldn't hold it. The regret. She started to cry. At that moment, the rest of Class A entered her room to visit her. What they saw shocked them. There Izumi was, the strongest of them all, crying hopelessly. Shota and Katsumi were the first to rush to her side. Shota, Izumi. What's wrong? Katsumi, everything is okay. We are here now. Izumi just hugged both of them, not having the strength to reply yet. The rest of the 1A students just stood by the side. They knew she needed some time. After a few minutes, Izumi calmed down. Izumi, guys, I am sorry. Sniff everything that has happened because of me. If only I hadn't been so weak. Sniff. Everybody looked at her, shocked. Shoto, Izumi. She raised her head to look at him. Shoto, don't you dare say you are weak. Now everybody looked at Shoto. Shoto, and also you are not at fault for what that crazy monster did. Izumi. But if only I had been different with him, if only I had the strength to stand up for my brother, none of this would have happened. All of those people are dead because of me. Katsuki and Ragdoll are kidnapped because of me. Katsumi, stop it. It's true. I am sad for my brother, but it wasn't your fault it happened. Uraraka, Izumi, you are putting too much blame on you. There is no way you could know what would happen. Shota, listen to her. You are just adding more weight on your back. Cut that out. Izumi, guys. Tinya, and don't dare to say you are weak, because you are the strongest here. Kirishima, you have had to carry this weight all by yourself. How can you say you are weak? Momo, but also, now you don't have to carry it alone, okay? Izumi, guys, she said as she started to cry, thank you. Shoto, we are here for you. Class 1A engulfed Izumi in a big group hug. Momo, also, I know you want to make things right, so do I during the training camp invasion. I managed to put a tracker in one of the villains. That way, we will know their location. I gave the heroes a device to track them down, but I also made one for myself. Izumi. Momo, she then looked at Momo, who had a determined look in her eyes. Let's go rescue them. Shoto, you won't be going alone. I will go too. Katsumi, I won't let you rescue my bro without me. Tinya, I will go, but just to make sure you don't get yourself in trouble. Kirishima, I will tag as well. I have to save my bro. Izumi, very well then. If nobody else joins, we are all. Let's go and recuse Katsuki. Meanwhile, at the League's hideout, Izuku was on his bed. You could see he was visibly pissed. Izuku, curse you, Nana. Why did it have to be him? Izuku started to have a flashback from when he returned from the camp. Izuku, I am here. Nana. Good, we just finished tying up our new guest. Ha ha, come see. Izuku, oh really? And who I what? At that moment, Izuku saw an unconscious Katsuki tied up to a wooden chair. Izuku, why him? Nana, what's the matter? Do you like it? We brought him here because of his villainous personality. He could be a great asset. And think about it. You would be his senior, his boss. You would be the one giving him orders and telling him what to do. How great, isn't it? Isn't that what you always wanted? Izuku, TSK, you idiot, that is not what I want. You understand nothing. Izuku was fuming with anger, and he decided to just leave for his room. Nana, I guess he didn't like my gift. Hush, she said with visible sadness. Izuku was really angry by remembering that. Izuku, I need some way to take out my frustration. At that moment, the door opened, revealing none other than All for One. Izuku quickly stood up to greet his master. Izuku, Sensei, it has been a while. AFO, it sure has, my boy. Izuku, what brings you here, Sensei? AFO. Oh, is that I saw how you reacted to Nana's gift, and I thought you may be angry and needed a way to take that frustration out. Izuku, you really do know me. AFO, of course I do. Now follow me. Izuku followed All for One, and they walked until they reached a door at the very end of the hideout. They stopped when All for One stood at the front of the door. AFO, tell me, do you remember the day I met you? Izuku, oh yeah, when you rescued me from that sludge monster. AFO, yes, and what are your feelings toward that monster? Izuku, the purest form of hate. He is why I have to use this respiratory mask to live, and also why I have this metal can as an arm. AFO, and tell me, what do you think happened to it after I rescued you? Izuku thought for a while. Izuku, I don't know. All for One grinned behind his mask, and then he opened the door. Behind it was nothing more than a cage with a green-like substance with yellow eyes on it. Izuku's eye widened. AFO, he is all yours, he said as he closed the door behind Izuku. Izuku stepped forward near the cage. Izuku, you. S.M, huh? Who are you? What do you want? Please free me. Izuku, ha 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 ha. S.M, what is so funny? Izuku, let you go? Ha 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 ha. Don't make me laugh. You don't know how much I have wanted this. Tell me, do you recognize me? The sludge monster took a while to analyze Izuku. Soon after, realization hit him. Sludge, it's you? You are that kid. Izuku. Oh yes, I am. And now let's have some fun, shall we? There are some things I want to test out. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Sludge. No, oh no. Stay away. No. At the police HQS. The top-ranked heroes, the police commanders, and what remained of the Heroics Ministry personnel met to decide how to proceed. Tsukachi stepped to the front with Commander Levi and began the explanation. Tsukachi, please everyone, listen up. I'm going to tell you what we are going to do. The Prime Minister gave us one last chance to prove our value, and we better not waste it. Thanks to a student of the UA's Hero course who was on the training camp during the invasion, we now have gotten information on the League's hideout. She managed to put a tracker in one of the villains, and now thanks to Levi's Recon Corps, we have officially discovered their main base. It is safe to say they will probably have quite a lot of defenses set up in place to prevent them from being attacked, but still, it is our only chance. The attack will be divided into 2 attack groups. The first will head towards the League's main hideout, where it is suspected the League's leading members are. The second group will attack a warehouse a few roads down. It is supposed that is where the Nomus are stored. This is our only chance to bring them down now. We have to deal a heavy blow at least. All of you better be prepared. All Might. All for one this time, I will bring you down for sure, and with your downfall, Izuku will come back to the light. Be prepared, for I am coming for you. The heroes were determined. This had to be their win. Everything was set, the plan was done, and the groups were made. They would attack at night. UA was going to give a press conference to try and save their reputation. Still, in reality, that was just a distraction. Meanwhile, the meeting was going on. The strike teams would be in their way to capture the villains. They knew they wouldn't stand too much of a chance against a well-organized army of villains, so the plan, take down their leaders as fast as they could, beheading their organized structure. The villains had been the ones in the offensive for the last months. Still, now it was their turn to attack and turn the tables around. They were determined to not fail, because if they did, who knows what is going to happen. Meanwhile, at the League's hideout, Katsuki had just woken up. The villains were trying to talk him into becoming a villain, but he would only bark at them and insult them. At that moment, the villains saw Izuku enter back to the room. Katsuki was in fear, not that he would admit it, but Izuku was the only villain who he truly feared. Still, to his relief, Izuku did nothing. He just stood at the back of the room, watching. He looked at the TV. The UA was giving some sort of conference to clear their name. It was funny for Izuku. At that moment, something caught his eye, a small, bright, red point in the shirt of Twice. He looked and then took it. Twice felt he had been touched, so he turned to see Izuku looking at the palm of his hand. Twice, what's wrong? / why did you touch me? Izuku just kept looking at his palm. He then closed his hand and looked at Twice. Izuku, nothing, just a bug. Twice, thanks, / I wanted that bug there. At that moment, Izuku decided to leave the room. Dabi noticed this. Dabi, where are you going to? Izuku, I am just going to my room. All the noise is going to kill me. Izuku opened the door and left. He walked down the hallway to another room. He went inside it and opened the cage. He then approached the body of the old man in there, looking for something. When he found it, he retrieved it. He stood up and left the room. He walked down the hallway again and entered his room. Izuku, Deku. Deku, yes, master. The artificial intelligence answered back. Izuku, contact all the field commanders. Deku, as you wish, my master. Izuku. Oh, and Deku, I have special orders for you. With Izumi and the rescue group. Izumi, Shoto, Shota, Momo, Katsumi, Kirishima, and Tenya were walking down the streets of Kamino Ward. That is where their target location was. As they walked down, all televisions showed UA's apology broadcast, and they could hear people's reactions to everything that was going on. As they neared their destination, they decided it was for the best to have a small change of look. That way, the group wouldn't be easily recognized by anyone as they approach it. They were nervous. They weren't exactly sure what to do once they reached their intended destination. That is when they saw a bunch of police officers and a small group of heroes moving down the road. They decided to investigate. They were somewhat aware of the heroes' plans, so they thought that maybe the villains had a second location, or that perhaps they had moved out or something. Once they reached where the heroes were, they hid behind a wall. They saw how the heroes were raiding the warehouse where a bunch of nomas were located. The hero team consisted of Best Jeanist, Mount Lady, Tiger, and Gang Orca. As the heroes raided the warehouse, Tiger was able to find Ragdoll. He carried her outside. She was not in a good state of mind. Tiger, what have they done to you? Gang Orca, she is breathing at least. As they were speaking, footsteps could be heard. The heroes were on alert. Even the students were wary. A shadowy figure approached them. AFO, I am sorry, Tiger, but her quirk was just too good. I had to take it. Tiger, are you with the League? Gang Orca, stop right there. At that moment, Best Jeanist used his quirk to trap All for One in his fibers. Mount Lady, what are you doing, Jeanist? What if he is a bystander? Best Jeanist, look at the situation. A moment of hesitation could decide the battle. We can't give the villains any chances. That is when All for One had enough and unleashed a massive shockwave that made him free and also destroyed much of Kamino Ward. The students were visibly disturbed. They were in fear of this character who just not only defeated 4 pro heroes and an entire police squadron, but also destroyed half of Kamino in less than a second. His aura of death reached the students. Fear took hold of them. They were paralyzed. Meanwhile, All for One was in the middle of the battlefield. All for One, Nana had just started to make decisions on her own and had also started to take command of the League. I really wished you had stayed out of her way. Izumi, Nana, he is talking about Shigaraki. Then that means that this man is All for One foot, Izumi thought in despair. All for One, now then let us begin. At that moment, Best Jeanist, who was laying down in the ground in fear, heard how All for One directed his attention to him. All for One, I have to say, you impress me. Best Jeanist, you managed to get everyone to safety before the blast hit them. You really have the skills to be the number 3 hero, but your quirk is not useful for me. Best Jeanist, he is the one they warned us about. He is the League's leader, the one with the same strength as All Might. But that is not a reason to cower. I will not back down. I am a hero. I will stop you. Best Jeanist used everything he had and attacked All for One, but it wasn't enough. Best Jeanist was defeated. Meanwhile, the students just stood there behind the wall, in complete fear of the power that was shown. A few minutes earlier, at the League's hideout, Nana was still trying in vain to talk Katsuki into joining them. Nana, I know what will aid us. Twice, release him. Twice, what why? Slash of course. Nana, that way, we will be treating him as an equal, and it will make things better. Twice, okay slash not okay. Twice approached Bakugo and untied him. The moment he was free, Bakugo attacked twice and later Nana with his explosions. Then he stepped back. Katsuki, you really think I will join you? No, you are villains, and in the villains lose. I will not be part of the losing team. Nana, you brat. At that moment, it was heard as someone knocked on the door. Unknown person, Kamino Pizza Delivery. Everyone just looked at the door dumbfounded, but that is when All Might, esse, mais. All Might came bursting out of a wall along with other heroes. Kamui Woods was quick in catching all of the villains. Meanwhile, Edshot and Gran Torino neutralized Kurogiri and Dabi respectively to prevent an escape. Meanwhile, outside there was Endeavor and Titan along with Tsukachi and Levi with the police corps. All Might, end of the line villains. Because we are here, the villains were trapped. There was nowhere to run. All Might, now Nana Shigaraki, where is Izuku? And more importantly, where is All for One? Nana, I hate you. That is when black portals started to appear, from which many nomas came out. Also, other outlets appeared that swallowed the villains, and also Bakugo. All Might screamed in the rage that they have escaped. Meanwhile, the rest of the heroes and the police corps began to battle the nomas to try and neutralize them. Tsukachi, the other group must have failed. Titan, All Might, go. We will hold them. Gran Torino, what are you waiting for? Hurry. That is when All Might jumped high and began to move towards the second location. Back at the warehouse, All for One stood over the body of Best Jeanist. That is when the black portals appeared, and the villains came out of it. All for One, I see you have failed, Nana. But don't worry, that is what I am here for. You just have to try again. Nana, Sensei, All for One, I even brought this kid who you judged to be essential for us. Katsuki, who the hell is this guy? Is he the leader? All for One, so you finally came. That is when All Might came flying down from the sky and attacked All for One, but he held him off. All Might, this time, I will make you pay. All for One, AFO, will you kill me again? All Might, All for One managed to get All Might off him, but that created a massive shockwave that sent everybody back. Izumi, that is Dad. Is Dad fighting All for One? But in his state. All for One then stood up once more. AFO, it took you more than expected to arrive here. All Might, you are weaker now. All Might, look who is speaking. Aren't you trying hard with that industrial mask? That is when All Might launched himself to attack All for One, but he simply used a shockwave to send him back. All for One, this quirk combination is fun. Katsuki, All Might, All for One, don't worry, he won't die from something like that. Nana, you should leave. Forced quirk activation. All for One launched what looked like tentacles from his fingertips and used it to activate Kirojiri's quirk. All for One began to fly back. All for One, remember to stay healthy. You have a lot of room to grow still. You must become a real villain. At that moment, from the rubble of the warehouse, Izuku appeared. AFO, Izuku, did you finish what you said you were doing? Izuku, yes, Sensei. AFO, good, it's time for you to leave. That is when All Might appeared and began to battle All for One once more. Mr. Compress, hurry Shigaraki, while the masked guy is holding back All Might, he said as he turned Dabi and Kirojiri into marbles. Nana, okay then. The villains surrounded Bakugo, including Izuku. They all began to attack him. Meanwhile, Bakugo could only dodge and try to get away from the fight. All Might try to help Bakugo, but he was stopped by All for One. Katsuki, oh no, All Might can't unleash his full power because I am here, curse it. Meanwhile, behind the walls, the students came up with a plan to rescue Bakugo. As the villains were distracted, Kirishima, propelled by Tenya, Izumi, and Katsumi, destroyed the wall. Meanwhile, the Todoroki twins made a giant ice path that reached far into the sky. Everybody watched as they crossed the battlefield, but that is when they heard. Kirishima, come. That is when Bakugo propelled himself and managed to grab Kirishima's hand and began their escape. Nana, those brats, she said while shaking in anger. All Might, seriously? They are amazing. Izuku, not bad. Spinner, any long range. Izuku, I will take care of that. As Izuki was aiming, he was about to fire when Gran Torino came in, forcing Izuku to use his arm to block the kick. Gran Torino hopped around, knocking down the villains until only Nana, Izuku, and Toga remained. Nana, we must go. Izuku, I will hold back the old man. You take care of the others. And so as the titanic battle between All Might and All for One continued, Izuku engaged against Gran Torino. Gran Torino hopped around trying to confuse Izuku, but Izuku's senses were too good. He predicted Gran Torino's attacks and began to punch him back. Eventually, Izuku overpowered him and threw him away. Nana, it's done, Izuku, come. Izuku, at that moment, opened a portal of his own. Izuku, I am sorry, Nana, but there are a few things I have to take care of before we meet again. Until that day arrives, goodbye. Izuku entered the portal and left. Nana was angry, but she decided it was better to take her to leave, and so she did. All for One and All Might kept battling. All for One, looks like we can finally go all out. The battle was raging, the whole world was watching. All for One was pushing back All Might with his giant arm. All Might dodged and punched All for One. He then got under his arm and appeared in front of him, channeling the remaining embers of One for All into a single punch. All Might, United States of Smash. With that last punch, All for One was defeated. All Might stood victorious, but this would be his last fight. The sun rose, and so the dawn of a new era began. League of Villains defeated. League of Villains leader captured. Battle of Kamino, a hero victory. League of Villains defeated. Symbol of peace retires. All Might retires after defeating the League of Villains boss. Headlines like this appeared all over the nation, in T.Versus, newspapers, and online articles. The people who supported the heroes took to the streets, doing parades to show their support. Hero approval ratings were up once again. Meanwhile, the League's supporters were silenced. They were harassed now that the League was defeated. Many hid or took to the underworld to await the eventual return of the League. The heroes now enjoyed a greater reputation. Even though All Might retired after the battle with All for One, the participation of the many heroes during the battle was seen as great by the public. They could now rest assured that the Prime Minister wouldn't disassemble the Hero Corps. For now they could rest, or could they? UA would not take any chances of an attack on their students happening ever again. They implemented the dorm system, making all the students to move into them. They also rebooted their entire security system. They also began implementing a new system for the students' education. They wanted them to be capable of defending themselves in case of emergency. This plan also led to the first yearers to be able to apply for their provisional license exam. One had been through a lot. They had been first attacked during the USJ, then there was the bombing of the UA Stadium, and finally the training camp invasion and the kidnapping of Bakugo. Now after having rescued Bakugo, having been scolded by Aizawa, and finally settling into their dorms, they thought they would get some rest. They were wrong. Aizawa came in only a few days after they settled in their dorms and announced them that they would begin training to apply for their provisional license exam. They were excited at first, but after just one day of training they realized how hellish the rest of their days were going to be. But in the end, they knew it was worth it. Nana was not having a good time. The League had been driven further underground. All for One was captured, and Izuku had gone somewhere else. She couldn't even contact the rest of the League's troops. She now only had her small vanguard squad. They were currently hiding in an abandoned warehouse. Nana had not uttered a word ever since their arrival. She was just too hurted, especially because of Izuku. In a hidden lab somewhere in northern Japan, Izuku was continuing with his research. He knew if he soused, he would change not only their current situation, but also the rest of the world. He knew about the existence of this place because he had hacked into All for One's personal computer and saw information about it and its location. When the heroes attacked their base, he made sure to delete any files about its existence. When he first arrived, he searched for All for One's doctor. He was quick on finding him. The doctor was working on a series of nomus when Izuku surprised him. By finishing him, he didn't need him or his nomus anymore. He wanted something far more grand that would even the battlefield. He had been doing research, but it was difficult to achieve what he wanted. There was one piece still missing. He was reading an online article. He then also began reading some informs Deku had provided him. Izuku, Deku. Deku, yes, master. Izuku, I need you to find this man. The demise of the symbol of peace and the symbol of evil, the heroes, and the underworld were leaderless. There was a vacuum. The villain organizations that had to restrict their activities were beginning to flourish once again. Battle was being fought on the streets daily, and they are becoming more lethal every day. It is becoming quite hard to survive. That is why the hero schools are doing their best to prepare the new heroes. Class 1A had finished the provisional license exam. Now they were waiting to do their residencies. This would be sort of like their internships. The UA Big Three went to their class and introduced themselves. Mirio Togata, Nijire Hato, and Tamaki Yamajiki. They were there to also scout the students for anyone who could join the hero agency they work for. Mirio had an excellent idea for this. He decided to spar with all the students at once. Needless to say, he won pretty quickly. After the match, they left back to their class. Nijire, Nene, what do you think about them? I think they were really cool. Such awesome quirks. Mirio, you are right. They were all quite impressive to be from the first year. Tamaki, some were scary like those blonde twins. Mirio, come on, Tamaki. There is no reason to be intimidated. And after all, we are all here to become heroes. Nijire, Nene, what do you think about the other blonde, the one with blue eyes? I believe her name was Izumi Yagi. She is the daughter of All Might if I am not wrong. Mirio, she was the most powerful of them by far. I wonder if she could meet Sir. Back with 1A. They were still struggling to get back up after that beating. Mina, that senpai sure was powerful. Momo, indeed, he is a third-year student, after all. Izumi, I almost had him. His quirk is fantastic. Meanwhile, Bakugo was about to explode. Shoto, what's wrong, Katsuki? Katsuki, next time I see that Tintin look alike, I am going to crush him. The students kept chatting between them. They were amazed by Mirio after all. Meanwhile, Izuku kept searching for Overhaul. He was the leader of the 8 Precepts of Death, a Yakuza organization. He had Deku scanning the internet for anything related to them. After all, he couldn't go back to Mizudafu. He was a wanted villain after all. After some time, he finally managed to find his whereabouts. Izuku decided to call his commanders. After a few hours, they all arrived. They were standing in the middle of a room when the Izuku appeared to talk to them. Izuku, welcome, everyone. I have an essential matter to discuss with you. They all turned to him. Seba, why did you summon us? Seba note, 1st Army Commander. Bijin, I have to say I am intrigued as well. Bijin's son, 2nd Army Commander. Chikara, it better be important. Chikara Nashi, 6th Army Commander. Stain, we won't know if you don't let him talk. Hero Killer Stain, 5th Army/Elite Unit Commander. Izuku, thank you, Stain. Now I gathered you here because of my next plan, and what I need to know is if I will have your full support. Seba, what? Are you crazy? Chikara, I am on board. Bijin, me too. Seba, what? Why? Bijin, I don't really care about it. Stain, it might be difficult for me to accept it, but if that is what you deem reasonable, then I will do it. Seba, you can't be serious. Izuku, what is your problem, Seba? Seba, well, I am on board with the initial phases, but I can't accept the last one. Izuku, oh? And what are you going to do? Seba, this. At that moment, Seba dashed against Izuku at incredible speed, trying to slash his head off. However, he managed to dodge the blades, but still, Seba landed a kick on him and pushed him back. The other commander were about to intervene, but Izuku signaled them to stop. Izuku, okay, then, let's settle this. Izuku took a blade from his back and took a stance. Izuku, let's go. They went at each other and clashed their blades, exchanging rapid blows between them. They were evenly matched, but Seba, a seasoned assassin, he had much more experience than Izuku and began to push back. Seba vowed to end Izuku right there and prepared to strike. He struck to cut Izuku, but Izuku, being the superior strategist, dodged and used the momentum to his advantage and attacked Seba. In a swift move, he removed Seba's head off from his body. Izuku threw the sword away. The commanders were stunned. Izuku, Chikara, you were missing troops in your army, right? Chikara, yes. Izuku, I am disbanding the 1st Army. They will be joining you in the 6th Army. Chikara, okay. Izuku, Stain, Bijin, drill your troops and be ready. Bijin, right now. Stain, as you wish. Izuku, be gone now. Izuku watched as the field commander began to leave, and at that moment, he started his new plan. He opened a portal to where Deku had said the Yakuza base was supposed to be. He appeared to be in an underground facility. He continued to walk and saw a young man with a plague mask walking out of a room with a little girl. Izuku, Overhaul. Overhaul was surprised by the voice. When he turned around, he was definitely not expecting to see one of the most notorious villains in Japan standing there. Overhaul, Dark Phoenix, a pleasure to meet you, but may I know, why are you here? D.P. I came to talk about business, Overhaul. Overhaul looked at him suspiciously, but they decided to go with it. Overhaul, fine, then come with me. Eri, stay in the room, and don't try anything. Are we clear? The little girl known as Eri nodded. Some minutes later, they arrived in a small living room, where Chrono and Mimic, members of the Precepts, waited for them. They sat down and began to talk. Overhaul, so tell me, what business were you talking about? D.P. You see, Overhaul, we have very similar goals. Overhaul, what goals do you think I want? D.P. The erasure of quirks. Overhaul was startled. Overhaul, how did you? D.P. I have my ways, and I can see I was correct. You know, I have been trying to get my own quirk erasing device going on, but it just doesn't work. After some investigations, I found rumors about